Now, earlier we said there was going to be a time when we'd have to work with multiplying mixed numbers. That time is now. While that's a little bit trickier than what we were doing before, you're going to find out it is much the same. We have two different ways of handling it. One, we convert to an improper fraction. And then carry on as normal. Our second way of doing it is treating that mixed number as an addition problem and then distributing the number that we were multiplying. So again, that's treat like an addition problem. And I'm going to be showing what that means to be doing it that way. And we're going to work this example in both ways. That way, whichever way you are most comfortable with, you can do from here on out. I'm going to work way number 1 in red and way number 2 in blue. So, to mark that I'm going to do it in two different ways, I'm going to divide my paper in half, just so we know the two different ways that we're talking about. So, in half, on the left side, let's work it the way that we've already seen multiple times, converting to an improper fraction. So we want to convert 5 1/3 to an improper fraction. And I said I was going to do that in blue. So 5 1/3 to improper. So to do that, we multiply 5 times 3, and that's what we're going to add to the top. So it's 3 times 5 plus 1 over 3. And that'll give us 16/3. So now that we have it as an improper fraction, we can do 2 times 5, or not 5, 16/3. And we just multiply like we did in the previous ones. 2 is the same thing as 2 over 1, and then we multiply our tops together, and we get 32 over 1 times 3, just 3. And now, our last step is we have to work backwards and simplify this. So 30 goes into 32 10 times, so we're going to have 10, and that gives us a remainder of 2. So that's 10 2/3. And again, that was our simplify step. Now, if we treat this like an addition problem, this goes back to the other question that we had in our warm-up. For that question, we asked, how did we write a number like a number called 5 1/3? 5 1/3 is actually 5 plus 1/3. So now to do this problem, we replace 5 1/3 with 5 plus 1/3. And I said I was going to do this in blue, so pretend this is blue. So we replace 5 1/3 with 5 plus 1/3. So that'll change our problem to 2 times 5 plus 1/3. And then we use our distributive property. So the 2 gets distributed to the 5 and to the 1/3. So then we end up with 10 plus 2 times 1/3, which is just 2/3. And when we do that, 10 plus 2/3 is the same thing as 10 2/3. What the second way does is it allows us to potentially avoid a lot of the problems that we run into with simplifying. When we simplify much larger numbers, it sometimes becomes hard to figure out what that remainder is going to be and how many times that number can go into it. Both ways will always work. It's just a matter of which way you are more comfortable working with.